There's fresh bomb attacks that have taken place in Manipur's Bishnupur district, damaging at least 2 structures. This is, as per the police reports, the attackers launched rockets from high grounds in the adjacent hill regions of Churachandpur district, which was meant to target the residential area of Tronglaobi, which is situated 45 kilometers from Imphal, which is the state capital. Now, as per police estimates, the rocket have travelled a distance of over 3 kilometers. Despite the attack, there were no casualties that have been reported. However, the bombing resulted in damage to the community hall and a vacant room located in the vicinity. Nibireko on the telecast. So, Manipur, give us details. There have been these rockets that have been fired in this region that is 45 kilometers from Imphal, the capital city of Manipur. If you could describe to us, are these IEDs? Who were these individuals involved in these rocket attacks? And we've thankfully gotten to know that there were no casualties that have thus far been reported.
Well, suspected militants have launched a fresh bomb attack from Manipur's Bishnupur district and damaging at least 2 structures. And these rockets were fired from elevated positions in the nearby hill areas of the Churachandpur district as per sources. And it was directed towards the low-lying residential locality of Tronglaobi, which is located near the state capital, Imphal. And it is, as per sources that say that these rockets are estimated to be over 3-kilometer range. And fortunately, there have been no injuries. But if you see the nature of attacks in Manipur in the last few days or so, we had one drone attack, and now again we are seeing rockets being fired. That tells you the severity of how the escalation of Manipur violence has taken up ever since the clashes broke out last year, and now we are seeing this high-level attacks being meted out in Manipur. However, the security forces are working full-time, and they have been heavily deployed in the vulnerable areas, trying to douse further escalation of the violence in the state.
Right, absolutely. Nanibe, this comes in wake of the drone attacks that ended up killing 2 civilians and injuring many others. Have the police and the armed forces that have now been deployed and the central forces that have been brought in, the National Guards, have they been able to find out who were behind these attacks? Any action that has been taken?
Well, at the DGP level, there has been a high-level inquiry being initiated against the drone attack. Further, the NSG have also sent a team of experts, to further ascertain the cause and also the people behind the attack. But the fact of the matter is that the tensions continue to simmer in Manipur. There are fresh instances of violence that have been observed in the last 2-3 days. Yesterday also we saw how a former officer's house was vandalized. So these attacks tells you the severity of what is happening in Manipur, and at the central level, the security forces have been heavily deployed. However, the new tactics that have been emerging out of Manipur will require a further extensive lookout to stop further escalation of these attacks.
Right, absolutely. Joining me also is VNJ, is the defense expert. Thank you so much for joining us on the telecast. And first things first, about the nature of these attacks and particularly the ammunition that has been used, which is a rocket strike. Now, taking a look at those visuals on our screens, sir, the damage has been limited. There is likelihood that it is an IED that has been used to strike these areas close to Imphal. What does this indicate? Are we equipped right now to handle these airstrikes, first with drone attacks and now these rocket strikes?
Very good afternoon to you and to your viewers. Look, this is a very fresh development now. This is assuming a slightly different connotation. Rockets coming into the firing line, rockets being fired, and the drones monitoring the system, monitoring the localities there. And this is all coming from the height, from the hills. We should remember, by and large, the hills are being occupied by forces which are akin to the cookies. Churches have got a greater hold on the hills. So these are the people who are who are getting the arms and ammunition from across the border. And in the valley, lower down, it is mostly the local inhabitants there. So drones coming up, rockets being fired from the height, surely it takes greater dimensions of the conflict there. And armed forces now should take a greater stand. Their strength should be increased there, and they must be able to look at all these, from where are these drones coming up, from where the rockets are being launched. Greater search and rescue needs to be done. More intelligence needs to be kept, especially on the higher approaches, be it hills, be it the cookie forces, and the other agencies who are allied to the cookies.
Yeah, absolutely. The question also arises, are the locals equipped to build their own drones, to build these rockets? And you rightly pointed out, like, are there external forces that are aiding these locals in giving them training, how to use them, but more importantly, providing them with these arms?
Look, the local people, they don't have this capability of making the drones, operating it there. Obviously, it has come from across the border. Now, across the border, till now, these things were not happening. And India had earlier taken a stand. You know, the problems in the Manipur is not new. It has been happening since ages that we have grown up. But now, especially now, when the things are getting calm, things are being resolved by the armed forces, then these rockets coming up from across the border and being fired onto the lower reaches, and the drones coming up there, obviously from across the border, and trained people are operating here from the hills. So it must be taken notice of, taken cognizance by the armed forces, and the steps be taken in accordance with what is the reality of today.
Okay.
Today's reality is that the foreigners, they are directly helping the people, agencies who are operating from the hills, from the height, who are mostly cookies, and the groups allied to them.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.